Welcome, everybody. If you'll join us for our Pledge of Allegiance, please. Okay, can't get my seat pushed up. Can we have a roll call, please?
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. Motion from Hill,
Second.
second by O'Laughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We had one name on the public comment part, but it's for something that's later on the agenda, so they decided to wait until that time. Okay. Then I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the July 10th, 2017 regular meeting, fire department statements from the month of June, Bill's Pizza and Smokehouse LLC Class C Commercial Outdoor Sunday Sales Catering Privileged Liquor License July 20th, 2017 through July 19th, 2018. Independence Area Chamber of Commerce Class B includes wine coolers liquor license August 11th, 2017 through August 15th, 2017. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion
Second.
from Lenius, second from Kurtz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next is approval of the bills.
I guess I'd make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
motion from Denny, second by Austin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. We had a petition from the public, but I don't see the gentleman here that made the request, unless somebody's hiding somewhere. So we'll move on and go to the BrewBQ instead.
Hello, my name's Jenny Yoder. I'm here with a different hat this evening. Here to talk about Independence BrewBQ. I think you have a couple of different letters with a few requests. This is the 12th annual BrewBQ. It's Saturday, August 26th. The letters you have are pretty standard for that we've done in previous years, with just street closures and allowing our vendors to come the night before and park in the park. A couple of things I wanted to let you know about this year's event. We have a bike ride that starts at 9 a.m. They'll be leaving from Sanity Room, and they'll be going through Buchanan County toward Quaskey and Winthrop, and they'll be back in town probably around 3 p.m., no later. We have a VIP craft brew zone this year that starts at 3 p.m. until 4 p.m., and then from 4 p.m. until about 7 will be the regular craft brew zone for those who have stopped down before. We also have live music starting at 3:30, so you'll hear that down at the park. And then we have a headlining band coming in at 5:30, Philo from Alabama. It's Brock Cole. He's an alumni from town here, so he's bringing his band up. So we're pretty excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then one other thing I really want to highlight is our charity partner for this year. It's the John Holland Impact Indie Fund. All the proceeds from our event will go toward establishing an endowment fund. It's the community foundation that's handling it, but all of our proceeds will go to that. So really what we're trying to do is develop a lump sum to put into that endowment, and then for years and years they'll pay out to different things. So entities who are nonprofits can apply. So various organizations around here, Trails Association's backpack program, they can apply to get money from that. So we're really looking for a great turnout so we can raise a lot of money. We're looking for a lot of volunteers. If you're interested in helping that day, please let us know. We'll get you signed up. I think it's 2.5 hour shifts. It's going to be a really great time. Otherwise, I think that's all I have for you. Did you have any questions about the event or kind of the closures?
So how does somebody, if they want to volunteer, contact you?
You can go to our website. It's brewbq.org.
Okay.
And you can sign up there, or you can fill out a contact form, or you can contact anyone on the committee, and we can work with you on a shift that you would like. So it's selling tickets, pouring beer. We need help for setup the night before, that Friday night down at Riverwalk Park. And then we need help with cleanup the next day, that morning. And so we'll be out of the park by the next day, but there'll be security there all night watching stuff. So, yeah, we're looking to have a really good time and raise a lot of money in John's name. So, yeah.
Good.
Is there gonna be anybody staying in the park? other than
Most of the time, the vendors, some of them might choose to stay with their rig, just so that no one messes with it, even though we have security, but they won't have campfires. They won't have anything going on down there. It's really to just watch their stuff.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
I'll leave some flyers with you about John's Fund.
Okay.
And that's also on our website if you want a PDF of that as well. So,
Great.
thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jenny.
Thank you.
So I will need a motion to approve the Independence Barbecue 12th Annual Event and to waive compliance with City of Independence codes as follows. Chapter 47, Park Regulations, 47.02, Use of Drivers Required, Chapter 47, Park Regulations, 47.06, Campers. Do I hear
Moved.
a motion?
Second.
Motion from Hill, second from Kurtz. We need a roll call on this.
Yeah. Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Have fun. Plan on seeing you there. Okay, next is hearings and ordinances. I need a motion to receive, file, and consider adopting the ordinance for the final time for the Chapter 115 Perpetual Care Cemetery.
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Lenius,
second it.
second from O'Laughlin. All those in favor? Oh, no, you need a roll call. I'm sorry.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. The next is I need a motion to receive, file, and consider adopting the ordinance for the third and final time of the Chapter 41 weapons.
So moved.
Motion from Kurtz, seconded by
I'll second.
Lenius. Any discussion? Roll call.
Hannah,
No.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
No.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
No.
Is it still 4-3? Still got majority? So it still passes? Thank you. Next is Chapter 69, no parking. We need to have a public hearing, so I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion from Hill, second by O'Laughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Now I need a motion to actually hold the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion from Austin?
Mike.
Mike,
You?
I'll second it, though.
Sorry. Okay. I heard the voice coming from there, wasn't sure. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are now in public hearing in regards to Chapter 69, no parking. Is there anybody in the audience that's here to speak on this particular event? No? Any comments from any of the council?
How did this come about?
This has to do with the street that was rebuilt, 2nd Street Southeast from 7th Avenue to the east into the apartment complex. The street is narrower. They narrowed the street down so they could save the trees, but they also have some fairly steep driveways on the north side of the street. If they went to a standard 28 or 32-foot street, the driveways would be far too steep. So it's a balancing act between having driveways that were accessible on the north and having the street with curb and gutter put in. I did send out letters to each property owner on 7th Street, to inform them that we were having the hearing, what we were proposing. If you take a look at the street, there are more driveways on the south, there's less room for parking on the south. So there's no magic as to whether it be north or south, but if we're going to limit parking, limit it on the side that has the least amount of parking available.
So we'll let them park on one side.
They'll be able to park on the north with the 25-foot street. If they put a car on each side and they're tight against the curb, it would be real tricky to get an emergency vehicle through there. This way, we can still get our emergency vehicles through the street. I haven't had any comments from anybody in the neighborhood. Like I said, we did notify them to make sure they're aware of what we're looking at. This is part of the design all the way through the, from the time we approved the design of the street. So not a big surprise.
We haven't received anything from anybody?
I haven't seen anything.
Okay. Hearing no comments, then I would ask for a motion to close the hearing and receive and file oral and written comments.
Got it.
Motion from Denny, seconded by
I'll second it.
Kurtz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Then I will need a motion to receive, file, and consider adopting the ordinance for the first time.
So moved.
Motion from Kurtz, second from Vaughn. Roll call, please.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay. Motion is carried. We are down to urban renewal. Motion to approve a resolution setting the date of meeting for August 17th, 2017 at 6:30 PM at council chambers, at which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with Steve G. Construction Incorporated, including annual appropriation tax increments.
This should be August 14th at your next council meeting.
Okay. Have the correction.
So moved.
Thank you. Motion by Hill, seconded by
I'll second it.
Kurtz. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to approve a resolution setting a date of the meeting on August 14th, 2017 at 6:30 PM in City Hall, in which it is proposed to approve a development agreement with Independence Construction Incorporated, including appropriation tax increment.
So moved.
Motion by Kurtz, second by O'Laughlin. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Grover,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Moving on, I need a motion to approve a resolution setting date for public hearing on, is that going to be August 14th also? At 6:30 in City Hall on urban renewal planned amendment.
So moved.
Motion from Hill,
Second.
second from Lenius. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Grover.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Moving on, I need a motion to approve a resolution to assess property owners for Chapter 52 mowing failure to comply.
So moved.
Thank you. Motion
Second.
by Kurtz, second by O'Laughlin. Any other discussion?
Is this a specific amount that's charged every time you have to?
Depends on how many times we've
I
had
think
to
it
mow.
escalates.
Yeah, the first
Okay.
time it's $200 and it goes up $100 each time after that.
Okay.
And we send them a notice, we bill them, and they get 30 days to pay, and if they don't pay, then we assess.
Okay.
So we did, this is other ones than what we had done at the last meeting. These are additional people?
Yep,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
Their 30 days expired since the last meeting, so.
Okay. So,
Roll call.
do I just need the roll call? Okay. Thank you.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next, we're moving on to new business. We'd received a letter from Walter Aviation requesting to terminate the contract as airport manager and fixed-based operator for the City of Independence effective September 30th, 2017. And they're to be done simultaneously. I
I will,
believe we have somebody that wanted to talk to this. If you want to go ahead and come up, Lisa?
My name is Lisa Walter, 415 11th Avenue Northwest.
Okay, can you talk a little louder, please?
Sorry.
Thank you.
I just want to say Jonathan has been blessed to share his passion for aviation with this community the last 5 years. He was inspired when he was in high school doing an internship at the airport with Lee Bowden, who was a great mentor and friend. Jonathan was blessed to become a pilot, flight instructor, and airport manager. The hometown boy starting up a business. He held grill outs, inviting the public to come check out our awesome airport. He invited families to bring their kids for a hot dog and experience a first-time flight over our city. He spoke at many schools on career days, hoping to inspire a child to dream big about aviation like he did. Different classrooms brought their kids to the airport for tours and see an airplane up close and learn about the science of flight. He and his wife Gretchen spoke to civic groups and tours and gave tours of the airport. It is an awesome facility and it should be shared. Thank you to all the families, all the people from Buchanan County, different communities, different states even, that have come and shared our airport with us. There are a few that don't like it that way. That's what's made this so hard. We've learned to put up with a lot. I hope that the next person who takes over the airport appreciates what is there and what it can be. And I want what Jonathan tried to do to continue. He was undermined in many ways for no reason. And this affects more than just Jonathan. The comments that people say and the actions. He has grandparents. He has a lot of family and friends. He grew up here. So it doesn't just affect Jonathan. It affects a lot of people. Jonathan is asking to leave Independence, not because he's done anything wrong, but we've had enough. You can never stop the inspiration and the passion for aviation that he and Gretchen will always share with the world. So if you want transparency, like many people do, take a good hard look at what's going to come forward for the airport for the sake of what Jonathan tried to do. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Is this where I should read this other paper that I got? Okay. I did receive something that we want to put in the records. It says, this is from Jeff Roddenhouse. It says, I would like to mention how Mr. Bachman, Denny Vaughn, and Jim Connell have repeatedly harassed this airport management, the airport community, and other city council because of their very obvious hate for the airport manager. Mr. Bachman's nonstop barrage of photos, comments, etc. is all just a ploy to always imply mismanagement. The stories that they have come up with is so far from the truth. Deny Jonathan's request. Give us happy customers the next year to prove that there is a lot of good at the airport. Send out a survey to all leasers to get the real truth. Don't believe what the evil Axis trio believe the majority. Again, it's from Jeff Roddenhouse. I don't believe he's present. Okay. You want to pass that down?
Can we say something now, or do
Can
we
pass
wait
that
until our
down to be
comments?
public record. I just read it.
Yeah, I want a
Okay.
copy of that.
Can we say something now, or do we wait until our
No,
comments?
no. Oh, you can
Has to be on,
speak on this issue, I guess.
has to be on the floor first.
What?
It has to be on the floor first.
The motion does, okay. The
The-
motion to accept his resignation needs to be first, motion and second first.
Just to point out, if you haven't had a chance, under your executive content is a legal opinion from Carter Stevens.
I didn't see one.
That's from the comments from Carter. Does that need to be read into record also, or not?
No, that's for you.
Okay.
I
Okay,
don't think you're logged in. If you actually log in, you'll see it. If you go to Board Docs and log in under your username.
In short, it says there's nothing in the airport manager's contract that precludes you from approving his request. Obviously, on September 30th, payments to Jonathan would cease. Likewise, there's nothing in the fixed base operator contract which Jonathan pays leasehold payments to the city. There's nothing there that would preclude you from terminating that, other than you will forego any revenue that would have otherwise come in. So, but there's no legal grounds for not accepting both.
okay. Do I hear a motion?
I will make the motion.
Okay. And do I hear a second? Motion from Hill, second from Vaughn. Now we have time for discussion.
Can I spoke with Jonathan. And
Yes?
I asked him, I said, are you positive that you want to do this? And he said yes. It's time, as his mom said. It's been a difficult situation. I've been on the airport board committee for probably 9 out of the 10 years that I've been on the city council. Personally, I think Jonathan has done a good job out there. He's young, he's learned. There may have been times when some things weren't done the way a person who had 50 years of experience would have done it, but we're not going to find people with 50 years of experience to take over situations. So sometimes we just have to go through the learning curve. I will, along with the comments that were made, it's not just, I think, had commentary only been limited to the work that was done at the airport, Jonathan probably wouldn't be resigning. But it's just been unbelievable, the personal type of commentary about him, his activities, his employees. It is a difficult situation that I feel bad that we have to accept his resignation, but I think for him and for his family, they have put up with personal commentary long enough. He's going to be an asset to another community, a loss for us, but I do hope that we learn from the experience here and that whoever we bring in as a new airport manager, they're not going to do things the way they've been done forever. They're going to change things. They're going to do things differently. It's with a heavy heart that I make the motion to accept his resignation.
Did you have something here?
Well, I tell you, I too want to echo what Bob said. I haven't been on the airport committee, and I've only been on the council for 3.5 years. But I have sat here and I've watched just, just stuff that was ridiculous to do to somebody. And the people, there's a handful of people that know that they were part of it. And I hope you're proud of what you've done. Like Bob said, he was young. Did he make some mistakes? Probably. But you know something? Everybody, if you don't give people a chance to make mistakes, they're never gonna succeed. And I think he'll be successful. But I think, in fact, I think we need to make some radical changes with the airport. Whether it's to make it a county airport or do something, I'd just soon sell it. The people that my biggest fear is that that as we move forward, whoever we get, if we get somebody, gonna go through the same thing. Because you've just got, I don't know what it is about that, but if we don't get it, I think we've proven that a city-run airport isn't gonna work. I made the comment when we lowered the rent for the condos out there a couple months ago. I said, and I think it's just about ridiculous to be able to run a business for that amount, that little amount of rent. But we did it. I mean, if it would have stopped all the complaining and bitching and everything else, I'd have said, let him have it for nothing. But you know something? It hasn't. And I don't think it'll change for the next people. I hope it does. But I think we need to, as a council, think about how to change the whole business structure of this, or we're gonna run into the same thing. But I guess I don't know, maybe I was somewhat guilty for not taking more of an active participation in it, but I think that what the people who are responsible for this, I think they ought to be ashamed of themselves, and it's not gonna bode well for us finding somebody else. And I wish Jonathan, and I wish all you guys the best. I wouldn't vote to rescind it or override it, because I don't think anything is gonna change. Everybody could stand up and say, we'll be better, and I don't think it will. It's just like bad kids. So, but I do apologize for what you've gone through, and I wish you all the best.
I would just like to comment that in the short period of time I've been on here, I've heard more minimalist complaints about the airport and Jonathan's operations. And I went out there a month after I got on here, and I was pleasantly surprised by the great job the kid is doing. So in turn, to investigate a little more, as a teacher, I spoke to some of the county, people within the county and the local area schools as to what he does, and he is well thought of and loved and has touched the lives of many children in a very positive way. He's made a tremendous impact. He's very giving, and he's given a lot back to the community, and I am just appalled at the treatment that he's endured for this amount of time. And I agree with Mike and Bob. I don't think it's going to change. I think that it's a malignancy that either we deal with or we perpetuate. So with that in mind, I will close and allow us to think about that, and as we move forward, we move forward.
And just kind of as a little bit of a comment on it too, I've known John since my freshman year of high school. So knowing that he sent us his, his, how do I even want to call it?
Resignation.
Sure, we'll go with resignation. That's the best way to put it. Just having known John for the last, almost 10 years, I know that he doesn't do things until he's thought them through. I know that this has probably been something that's been on his mind at least for the last 6 months. He may not have openly said it to anyone, but he's probably sat there and thought about it quite a bit. And he didn't act on it until he was absolutely sure that this is the right decision. This is going to be something that if I don't do, it's just going to continue, what's going on out here is just going to continue to drive me crazy. And to be honest, with everything that has gone on out there, it would be hard-pressed to find someone that it doesn't drive crazy. It's one of those things that with some of the complaints we've gotten about the airport, to echo Mike and Bob, it's ridiculous because it is the very basic things that have been complained about. And he's been put through the ringer over them over the last several years. I'm actually very impressed that he put up with it for as long as he did before he decided to submit his resignation. So much like everyone else up here, it'll be with a heavy heart because I know that wherever he decides to go, just so long as he carries on his passion for aviation, he's going to do amazing things.
Anyone else? I would like to make comments. I have been out to some of his cookouts and actually have talked to little kids, and they are excited because of him. I've watched that, and even elderly people. I've seen such a change in that airport of it being open up to the community. When I first moved here to this area in 1978, I thought it was a closed airport, that it was only rich people were allowed to go there. And when I found out, after meeting Jonathan and him taking over, found out what it was, saw such a change, and it has made a big change for this community. He should be very proud of the job he's done. So, any other comments?
I just wish Jonathan the best at his new job, and hopefully it's enjoyable for him.
Okay, anybody else that's out there that wanted to speak to anything?
One last thing, Jonathan did want people to know, he obviously, I'm sure it's well known, he was selected as airport manager down at Perry, but that was not the reason he's resigning. When he took that job, he had every intention of managing both airports, so it wasn't I stayed here till I got something else. It was I just wanted to, I remembered that comment that he's didn't stay here just till he got another job.
Yep. Okay, if nothing else, I guess I will call for a vote. Let's do that by roll call.
Hill,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Lenius,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Grover,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Reluctantly, the motion is passed. Thank you. Last item on our agenda is Mr. Lake is here. You made it on time and plenty of time. Glad to see you.
They kicked me out of the Fairbanks City
How
Council meeting as
Did you have to flood or swim in to begin with?
No,
or-
the river is no longer over the road in Fairbanks.
Oh, good, good.
It was pretty nasty. Visiting with the city council folks up there, it was pretty nasty for a while. And furious sandbagging saved a few buildings. I suppose I should stand in front of the camera and while I'm doing my talking. George Lake, Director of Buchanan County Economic Development. Let's see, do you guys have enough copies there? There's more. And
Yep, we got 'em.
2 or 3 times a year, I try to get before all the city councils, all 11, as well as the County Board of Supervisors. Our organization, we're 26 years old now, and we're sponsored by each of the communities in Buchanan County. And so I'd like to start things off by first introducing a newly hired employee for Buchanan County Economic Development. First time that our organization has had a second employee. And Lisa Kramer has been with us now for about 3 months. She works 16 hours a week, more or less, and her title is Communication Manager. And I'll let Lisa talk a little bit about herself.
Good to see you, Lisa.
In the handout, it kind of goes through everything, but I'll quickly go through. I grew up in Buchanan County by Walker, so for most of my life, I've actually been a resident of Buchanan County. I went away to Loras College, and then for 2 years after that, I worked as a Main Street Program Manager in Hampton. And then 2 years after that, I worked as Economic Development Director up in North Winnebago County. At that time, we had just had our first child, and our decision was that I would stay home with our children and raise our children, and we have 6 wonderful kids. My husband, Joe, and I have been married for 26 years. Still have 2 at home, and we've got 4 that will be in college this year. So when I came after a while, I did take the substitute authorization class and have been substitute teaching here at the independent school since 2013. And then when this opportunity came around. I was very excited. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a very good learning experience, and just an opportunity to work in economic development in any respect. Again, it's been a lot of fun. Some of the things that I've been doing is I have been working with Facebook site, kind of trying to be more active with Facebook and doing some Facebook Live programs. Also connecting Twitter, Instagram, all that type of media. I've worked with our Grow Buchanan site that we have, and with that I've added an investors page, and George will go into that. The cities are all our investors, and we have also added some investors within the county, some additional investors. I've worked with a program that helps to the lowest program to promote available properties throughout the area. And I've also wrote several articles about different businesses within the community, within the county, and those have been published. And then I've done just additional things that have to do with pictometry, going to conferences, and learning additional things. So, does anybody have any questions for me? All right, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, needless to say, I'm really tickled to have someone with Lisa's background on board. She's been very, very helpful. And the title of communications manager is very appropriate, from the standpoint of our mission is to grow business in Buchanan County with an emphasis on the existing businesses. And, you recently did your branding program, well, you're still involved with it, and the research showed that, 80 to 85% of millennials, their main source of news is social media. It's kind of scary in some ways, but that's the reality of things. And so for us to be able to reach out to the millennial generation and people my age as well, if we don't have a presence on the internet, if we're not socially active, through the internet, of course, we're going to be at a disadvantage. And so I appreciate Lisa being on board. And I know that you have all graduated from high school, and so your reading comprehension ability is somewhat appropriate. I'm not going to read everything that's in here, but I do want to touch on a couple of things. Our organization, as the director of Buchanan County Economic Development, I don't make policy. That is determined by our board of directors. And 3 of you have served on my board at various times or another, and I appreciate that. And so to give our board direction, we need to have some kind of policy planning like you guys do as a city. And we're going through a strategic planning session. It's a two-session program, and we're going to finish it up tomorrow night. And this is going to give us a plan of direction for the next 3 years. And so the activities that we engage in, our plan of work will be determined by our board of directors, which is the mayors of the county. And so I'm looking forward to that happening, to be able to give Lisa and I some direction that we can work with our board of directors. The next thing I want to touch on, in the 3 years that I've been back in this position, this is the single most important thing that we're doing. And we're doing county-wide housing needs assessment. There's plenty of anecdotal evidence saying that we have a shortage of housing, or the level of housing is not up to standard in many ways. Yes, we have good housing and so on, but when you have someone like Priest Manufacturing here in town, where close to 70% of their workforce lives outside of the community, and they're saying that their workers would love to live in town, but they have difficulty finding housing, there is a problem. And there are other companies as well that experience that. So we're in the process of our countywide housing needs assessment. It'll be completed in October. And once it's done, by having a verified need of housing, and I'm guessing every town in the county is going to show this, that will open up new venues for financing. And what's nice about the financing, it goes to the builder. to help buy down the cost of housing, which in turn will lead to lower cost housing for folks in the community. Now, another thing I want to touch on is our organization is majority funded by the communities in Buchanan County. The banks in the county and the utilities provide some assistance as well. If we want to expand our opportunities in programming and reduce costs for the cities, we needed to reach out to the private business sector. In this past fall, our board of directors participated in a capital campaign where private businesses were approached. And over 40 businesses agreed to make a 3-year funding commitment to Buchanan County economic development. What did that do for us? Well, first off, we reduced our funding requests from the cities. Secondly, we hired Lisa Kramer with those funds. And the next thing is we're looking at expanding our marketing presence and activities. And if you flip over on the second page on the back side, among the things that we're doing is we're going to be sponsoring lunch and learn sessions throughout the year. And here are 4 of them that are upcoming in the next few months. And these are targeting issues that are affecting businesses. About a year ago, I did a survey monkey of over 100 businesses in Buchanan County and asked them, what are the topics that you need to learn more about? Overwhelmingly, it was human resource and business finance. And so these are some of the things we're going to be addressing earlier. Earlier this year, we had a lunch and learn dealing with financing, and that was directed more towards the bankers and the accountants as what programs are available to help with businesses. Now, one other thing I want to touch on is workforce is probably the biggest issue facing businesses today in Iowa. But it's not just Iowa. Colorado, their unemployment rate is lower than 2%. But we are facing that issue, and so certainly some of the things that we're going to be doing is expanding our career fairs. We've been traditionally sponsoring 1 career fair a year. We're going to be sponsoring 2 career fairs a year. We've developed a regional website strictly for a 6-county region, so to enable Buchanan County businesses to post jobs. We've had over 200 jobs posted on that since we started it up in April. So these are things that we're trying to address. Now, one thing I'd like to talk about for all you people that are out there, we have a revolving loan fund of over $300,000. Independence Light and Power also has a revolving loan fund of about the same amount. These dollars are available to Buchanan County businesses to help them with gap financing on their businesses. And so we have money available, low interest loans. With Buchanan County, it doesn't amortize until 6 months after the loan is made. You don't have to start paying it back until 6 months after the loan is made. So if you're a business that's out there, contact me and also the folks at Independence Light and Power. They would be very, very willing to sit down and talk to you about helping your business grow. Now, the rest of the stuff you can look at. I'm just going to touch on 2 of the headlines. Our most important aspect is helping the existing businesses in Buchanan County. They've been established here, multi-generation businesses. That's what we want to do. We also do want to attract new businesses into the county. New businesses means more kids in the school, a growing tax base, and once we get our housing needs assessment done, new houses. Anyway, is there any questions? And John attended one of our recent board meetings. I appreciate you coming out, John. Any questions? All right, thanks, folks.
Where will these seminars take place, George? For example, October 19th, you and I staff members.
They will be over the lunch period, and they're usually, at the American Legion, we've held a couple there. Some of these are going to be held there. The one on succession planning is going to be at Bill's. And so we try, we keep them in local businesses to give them business. So.
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Okay, down to reports. I see that Laura is here. If you would like to start for us, give us an update on the library.
Good evening. We are at the library just finishing up our summer reading program. The for all of you people out there who have not finished your, brought in your final reading log, those are due July 31st. And that's the last day to get incentives also. We have had a nice summer reading program, a good response. We had over 1,000 people sign up for the summer reading program and have programs for babies, children, teens, and adults. So it's been a fun summer. We do have some other programs coming up. Like George was mentioning about social media, we have a LinkedIn class coming up on Thursday. That's basically for career-minded people who want to connect and network with others on a social media platform. That will be Thursday. And then we have a social media marketing presentation. So if you use social media for your organization or business, that would be a good thing to go to find out how to do more effective marketing using social media. We do have an all-day camp coming up August 1st for kids. It's called Recycled Racers in the Iowa State Extension. They're going to be facilitating that. So if anyone wants to go to that, there is registration is required for that. It's August 1st. And then you guys probably know that there's going to be a solar eclipse on August 21st. We do have 2 events coming up that have to do with that. August 7th, we have an individual from the Black Hawk Astronomy Club coming to talk about solar eclipses. And then we have something on the 21st from 12 to 2. The actual eclipse, we are in the 90% zone, so we won't see the total eclipse, but we'll see a 90% eclipse. And that'll be around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So we have a program from 12 to 2, and NASA has a live streaming coverage that we'll be showing at that time, and we'll be serving hot dogs, and we have solar eclipse glasses that people can use so they can view it safely. So that'll be fun too. And then lastly, we do have a fundraiser going on right now. It's called Give Me 5, and we would like people to consider giving a donation for One Book, One Independence. We've done that for 2 years now. We used Arrowwood last year and Orphan Train the first year. It's been a really successful program, fun program. And so we're trying to raise some money so we can do it again in 2018. So if you can spare $5, we'd love to have that, or multiples of it. That would be great too. So, guys.
I think you can count on all of us to give you $5. I'll speak for everybody.
You'll pick it up if we don't.
I will. I will.
Are you reimbursing me then?
No.
What
If
you're
somebody
saying
doesn't
is
give you
Laura just needs to
$5,
say
I'll
we
give you
didn't
the
raise
extra
money.
$5.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
I have to say, a summer reading program is good because you get ice cream.
Yes,
I've
it's
got ice cream cone and a blizzard so far, so I'm excited.
yeah. Dairy Queen is a wonderful sponsor for us.
It's a
So
replaceable commodity.
thank you.
That now.
He's already got his 5
I
up
got
there.
that, and
Wow.
if you don't get it, you let me know if there's a shortfall, and I'll give you more.
I'd
All
come
right,
up here and
thank you.
grab that, Laura. because
Yeah.
You better come get it.
He may try taking it back otherwise.
He's a retiree and limited.
He's going fishing,
We're on
he's going
fixed
fishing
income, but
tomorrow,
We
so.
can have it at the library.
Darwin, would you like to get up and speak for the police department?
You want money too? You want money
Yeah,
too, Darwin?
I think he's got some more.
Anything new to,
Nothing?
still status quo, we're still here, and
Okay. And you really don't like speaking at the podium anyhow?
I can do it from here, I don't have anything to offer.
Okay.
You know I've been gone a while, but Dustin's changed a lot.
He has, hasn't he?
Chief seems to deteriorate people.
Well, when it comes to committee members or council members, I'm going to start with Deb tonight because last time, people went before her, and then when it was her turn, they all kept taking up your time and asking questions and getting involved. So I thought, if you start, then when it's their turn, then they can respond, and you can actually do whatever you want to do or say whatever you want to say.
Okay. Well, I have a couple of things, and one thing is I've had some calls about the lights. They think that we're setting at the lights too long. I don't know if those lights that we've got them synchronized the same amount of time, 24 hours a day, or if they get less when the traffic's not as busy, or what, but I just told people I'd bring it up.
Are they talking
I
specifically
think you're
the
talking
bank
like
corners?
after hours,
or
just the ones through main drag,
Okay.
period.
There are 2 cycles. One runs from, I believe it's 7 a.m. to 11, and the other one runs from 11 a.m. straight through to 7 a.m.
And I'll get specifics the next time if I get calls to see if
They-
there's anything we can change.
But they are synchronized all the way through town, with the exception of the light on 9th Avenue Southwest. That one is not in, it is not synced with the rest of these through here. And the light at Casey's is not directly synchronized with these, partly because of it being further away.
And the other thing is our dog park that we're trying to get up and running. It shows here we've got $2,622.84 in our account right here. If people want the dog park, we need donors to step up and help us out so we can get the fencing. It's roughly $23,000. I think we've got a little bit more money in the account than what this shows, but we're still plugging away at it. Thanks. Thanks for everybody that has donated and all the help everybody's done.
You know, I was going to say one thing on the lights. I haven't had a lot of calls. I had 2 or 3 people, you know, didn't like sitting there that long. I did have two different people, truckers, that stopped me in like Fairway or something one day and someplace else, but they really like it. I think it must help the truckers get through town better. You know, and I've gotten kind of used to it. You know, it is synchronized pretty good to get all the way from Bill's out here. So, I think I'm more happy with it than I thought I was going to be.
Just see how long I'm actually sitting there, because it's not very long.
I think it's 15 seconds or so. Well, I don't know. It's a while, but it's not, I don't think it's that bad.
I've seen a lot of feedback on Facebook, negative toward it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I know, but it just,
Okay, Deb, and if somebody does want to donate to the dog park, they just send it to
They
City
can send it to
Hall?
City Hall, they can send it to any bank, and then
Memo, say,
it'll come through here, or any of us committee members.
Okay,
We've got literature out there about it. If anybody has any questions, call. We meet on every Tuesday here at City Hall at 5 o'clock. If anybody wants to come to those meetings,
you meet
welcome
every
to.
week?
Every week we've been meeting on Tuesday at 5.
Okay.
and
Okay,
you really need some more people to help.
Yeah, we can always use help. Everybody can.
okay, anything
No,
else?
that's it.
I want to make sure we don't have them interrupt their time. Since we had 2 people. I'm going to make you go next then, since you already started.
we have a finance committee meeting this Thursday, so I really don't have anything on that. John and I are involved with the watershed. August will be kind of a big month for that, because we have it's like the quarterly committee meeting. I think it's August 22nd or 23rd, and then we're also going to have a smaller meeting with Winthrop Kowalski and us, with some citizens and department people, and try to really zero in on stuff and get it moving a little better. So I think in September we'll have a little bit.
So the August one's 4 o'clock
I
at
think it-
Bill's?
That's
the one
that's the
that's smaller
small,
group?
that's
Yeah.
the small one.
Okay,
And then I think it's the day before is the one at the courthouse. So other than that, I really don't have anything.
okay. Denny?
Not a thing.
Nothing. You're sure, because you're not going to get to interfere in somebody else's talk.
Hit me with your hammer.
Okay, okay. Austin, want to catch up, or anything you want to?
I mean, in all honesty, about the only thing I've got is on the lights. I mean, I've driven through town numerous times just on my way to and from work, and there are times where it kind of feels like you're sitting there, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it slowed my drive through town at all, getting from my place to the south side of town to get onto 150. That being said, it is definitely something to keep an eye on, and just see how much of a backup we get. I can honestly say from leaving work down in Cedar Rapids every day, we've got nothing on the backup that they have on Blair's Ferry getting back to 380. So that's at least to our advantage.
Okay. Anything else? That's it?
That's it.
Okay. It's good to see you back.
It's good to be back.
Mike?
Public Works Committee this past week, we find that we're gonna start the paving on Bland Boulevard sometime in September, which is good news. That's long overdue. 20-day contract, and I'm sure with the quality of people they have, it'll take less than 20 to complete that. Al, what can we talk about from some of the other things? Anything?
Can they not actually start before that September date? That September date was the latest time that they can start, so they could start
It's a
before.
late start date
Okay.
for September 18th, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's the latest that they can start without incurring penalties. And then they have 20 working days to complete the project.
Because I know we were originally hoping it would be finished before school started, but it's not looking like that's going to happen. Okay.
And the state let that bid, so the city and county, when all the kids, if they're late and stuff at school,
Yeah.
Call somebody else.
all the DOT.
The DOT or something.
DOT allowed that late date start.
Oh, your
Everyone's
Town would be a mess for a month.
When school starts, yeah.
Any other information?
I'll give a quick update on the
Okay.
street.
Anything else?
Very sad to hear of John's departure. He serves the community well, and Perry is very fortunate to have him, and we wish him well.
You're settled into your new house and everything in your new location?
Sure.
Good.
Thank you.
Nice to have you in the neighborhood. John, do you have anything?
I think we're very fortunate that the water didn't get as high as they initially forecast, and we've got a few more days of dealing with it, but thank goodness. And there's a lot of communities that really got blindsided by this one, so we're pretty lucky. I know a lot of people worked really hard trying to save businesses and move belongings and that type of thing, so I'm glad we're out of the woods on that one now. I wanted to just mention something about the mowing assessments. You know, it's truly unfortunate that people are getting assessed that, but nobody's responsibility but their own. We're trying to keep our community looking good, and it's embarrassing when you see people that are abusing it. So maybe that'll be a light bulb going off and they take care of it in the future. That's all I've got.
Okay. Bob?
Okay. Mike went over the Public Works meeting we had. We also had our public safety meeting. That includes airport, police, and fire. Airport, we're still working on trying to get a grant for the auto fueling, where they can just go up and put their credit card in, but we'll see if we can still get that grant. I think some of the problems at the airport will be, as far as getting in and out of some of the hangars, it's a difficult situation because we are looking at taking the taxiway going south from the electrical building and then coming across the south end of the T hangars, which then will have a wider for people with bigger hangars and bigger airplanes. So that's a temporary and a frustrating situation for people, but we all knew that when we started that project, and so hopefully here in the next few years, that'll be something we get remedied, and I think that will hopefully take care of some problems, because there is a limited space between the T hangars and the electrical vault building, and so when the crop dusters are landing and loading, and there's only so much space, and it's good we have a lot more crop dusters and stuff, but it does cause difficulties too with having those individuals having to have space. So those are kind of the two things we talked about a little bit with the airport. The police department, I can't remember, I don't think we didn't talk about too much. Al will fill us in there. Fire department, they're primarily still working on getting some funding for a new grasshopper, which is their small unit for fighting grass fires. They need to get a bigger truck frame and stuff. I can't remember, Denny, do you remember anything else on police or fire? No. Okay. We did have our first meeting with the Police Station Assessment Committee. We had a nice report. Al did a good job going through. We handed out diagrams of our past endeavors. We talked about taking it slowly. We talked about some of our past approaches to the police station situation. We're going to basically not try to reinvent the wheel on some things, but we are going to look at whatever facilities might be available out here in the community, that being structures that are already built or even land sites. There was some discussion. We do have the lot to the south of the fire station. Ironically, the fire department, I think that is one of the things they're talking about, is they would like to have some additional space. They're getting crowded. So we probably need to consider what the future fire department needs are. I think that's the key word that I heard most of the committee members do, is what are the future needs going to be? We talked a lot about the electronic explosion in the police work, the fact that squad cars now are basically a mobile office with computers and printers, and so we're meeting next August 23rd, I think it is. Yeah, we're going to meet out at the police station, do a tour at the current police station, and take a look at squad cars and what they need for that. So we did start the process, but I don't think we're not going to be bringing anything, recommending to the council anything really too quickly, unless Al gets us in gear.
That
Right.
could happen.
Okay,
No.
that's all I have.
Okay. Gina?
Yes, if you guys tried to call up here or get a hold of me last week, I was probably in and out of the office a lot. And I got to go to clerk school again. This was my last time going. I get to graduate to the academy now. I'm done with the institute, which means next year when I have my 3 years of service, and I'll be able to become certified as a municipal clerk for the state of Iowa. Susie and Katie are there right now. Some of the classes I took last week were best practices in city government, managing risk and purchasing insurance, cybersecurity and electronic communications. We have some things that we'll have to learn and work through the city with, but the education has again been beneficial to all of us, and it'll help us expand our compliance as well as our capabilities for the city as a whole. So we are excited to work through some of those things that we learned and got to bring back for you guys and for the city. I will go back for the academy on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The girls and I will be switching back and forth this week too, as they try to work towards their graduation of the institute too.
Okay.
Thanks.
Al?
I have a couple of things for you. First of all, if you're not aware, Chris Anderson at the Parks Department has retired, or his last day is August 1st, after, I don't know, 87 years with the city or something. No, he's been with us for a long time. He will be missed. Also, Danielle Shares, I think you saw the email, at the police department, has decided to move into her career field, and we wish her well. We will miss her tremendously. I bring those two up because in both cases, staff is looking at the positions that they're vacating and really evaluating whether or not we need to replace it as is, or how can we make it a more effective or efficient position within the city. And so I commend staff for taking a step back and looking at that, and we'll work through that over the next 30 days or so. And you'll see, I think, some of that, especially with Mr. Anderson's position. I think there's some proposals that I'm excited about, but we'll work through that and bring it back to the committee of the whole. The speed limit stencil on the hill coming into town from the east, east of the library, that should be painted here in the next week. We've talked about this for about a year now, and we decided we're going to put the 25-mile-an-hour stencil on that hillside as you come in, see if that helps slow the traffic down. I do want to acknowledge that the Buchanan County Sheriff's Department was helping us out on the east side of town, slowing traffic down coming in the other day, and any of that helps out, because I know that it's tough to get down to 30 mile an hour, 25 mile an hour if you're going too fast when you get there.
There's people that like those little guys put back in the road too, I see that.
Well, that's been an ongoing discussion as to whether or not there's merit to it. Is there a benefit? Is it a nuisance? We're open to it either way, but if we put them out there, are they serving their purpose?
Well,
Some people like them and some
The big thing is getting
don't.
across to the library and the kids crossing to the pool.
Right.
Is what we're hearing. It's, small kids using it. Or
Are they
younger
using the
kids.
light, though, to,
Those lights aren't effective. Cars don't stop for them.
I'd rather see
Can't
a
depend on it.
stoplight.
Ooh, we've been down that road.
yeah,
I mean, we can go down it again
We're
for your
gonna keep
benefit.
We're gonna keep traveling.
yeah.
I do think if you look at Jessup, the way they've got theirs, out right on the road, that's where people drive and they look. They don't look up at stuff. But we can go down that road again for you, Mike.
But the little guys don't cost anything to put out there, and if there's parents that think it would benefit their kids, then we should think about that again.
To have somebody to put them back up every time they get knocked down.
Yeah, and, kids cross every block in town. It's not, I think we do kind of get focused on that library block, maybe because of the library, but there's people crossing it every block in town, so.
Well, just
I don't know.
so you're aware, we do have the stencils, and we are going to paint that. It's something, again, we've talked about, and it's the next effort to say, hey, look, pedestrians have the right of way if they're in the crosswalk. I'd encourage people to pay attention any place in town, because when the pedestrian is in the crosswalk, they do have the right of way. And so let's be careful for them. The traffic signals, just to bring everybody back to center on the timing of that, the way they were set up previously is there was not enough time for a pedestrian to cross the street at the bank corner. The signals were so short that you could not walk across legally. And so what they've done to set that timing, how did they come up with it? They looked at the traffic patterns, so they weren't getting a whole lot of backup. But it's the minimum amount of time to get a pedestrian across the street. And without running, Mike. I don't want you running.
No, I'm not concerned about, I just want to make sure Bonnie gets across the street.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Have to run when it comes in a short time.
selectively. Very quickly on our flood update, we did crest yesterday at 1543. It dropped down to 13.89, I think, this morning. It has started creeping back up just a little. It's at just over 14. It's supposed to be somewhere around 14.5 before it starts to drop again. They said it was going back up, then they said, no, it isn't, it's done rising, it's just going to stabilize. Well, they changed their mind again, and there's a real slow increase, and this is the last bit of rainfall out of Tripola that's coming through according to what they're showing on the models. So I think we're in pretty good shape. The water is up. Lover's Lane is open, of course. A couple of other places aren't open yet. That'll take a couple more days.
I thought it was nice of Fairbank to send down filled sandbags.
That was very, very gracious of them. We are going to try and hang on to some of those for just a little bit. Not that we're hoping for another flood, but they're already filled, they're already here. We can dispose of them, but I don't think we have a rush. They won't keep until next year. And the thing about the sandbags is they deteriorate, so we can save them for anything that might come up yet this summer or fall. But after that, really, there's no value in saving them, so we'll dispose of them. But we're going to buy a little time here. They are in the River's Edge parking lot. I apologize for the appearance of that. They had to drop them someplace. We're glad that we have them, but we'll hang on to them until we know we don't need them. So, and then we do have an opportunity that's, I think is very interesting for us. The city is going to have to make some challenging decisions in the not-so-distant future. We have an economic development opportunity. Rydell's is looking at the possibility of putting a new dealership south of Casey's on Highway 150 South. They're excited about it. It would be a great entrance to the community. We do have to work with Casey's and Rydell and a couple of property owners to take a look at the future of that area, because quite honestly, there's 150 acres east of that intersection that is all prime commercial industrial land if we have access to it. And so part of what we're going to have to work through is what does that look like? It will involve a street coming from that intersection if we're going to open that up and not create another 17th Street Southeast opportunity for the city to deal with down the road. So we don't have all that worked out for you yet, but just so you're aware of it, we did talk about it a little bit in Public Works, but we're going to have to come to terms with, do we want to open that up for access in the very near future or not? And we do have a potential tenant ready to go in there, so we're not just building it with the idea that maybe someday something good will happen. I mean, it's on our doorstep. So just, again, I don't have a whole lot more to share with you other than I know that Rydell is excited. They're working on it. They've got a very substantial investment that they are looking at, as well as, you know, what is it going to mean for the city moving forward, you know, as a community. So that's all I have.
Okay, did I miss anybody? I guess I want to just say that I think with everything I'm hearing that we all need to learn a little patience, whether it's a street sign or a crossing street or whatever. And I also did find out this past week that I've shrunk. I'm now, instead of 5'1.5", I'm 4'11". It must be probably my legs, and that's why it takes me longer to get across the street for you guys.
You need more time,
Yeah.
time on
So
the
we
stoplight.
may have to adjust those lights
The shorter
again.
you get, the more the people are gonna complain then.
Yeah, I'm complaining. I kind of argued with the lady and said, there's no way I'm that short, but she put it down that way, so what can I say? I, for one, am also going to miss Jonathan. I think he was a great asset for this community. I'm one that kept working with him, trying to get him to stay, even if I had to gild him into it and stuff at times. But I think Perry's going to be lucky to have him. It'll be interesting to see how that change goes. But got a lot of things going, a lot of stuff we got to be working on. We got a pretty busy calendar already for our meeting of the whole for August. So it'll probably be more because that's another week or two away. So, but other than that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion from Kurtz, seconded by?
Second.
Second by O'Laughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Thank you for coming. Motion